Good evening, everyone. All about me. I would extend it a little further. So, I'm an image consultant, a soft skills trainer, an etiquette coach, and a pageant coach. So, I've been training pageants from all over the country on the power of first impressions. I'm associated with 9 top pageants within the country. I'm also associated with a few hospitals within the country where I train the staffs for the same, creating power of first impressions. What are their communication skills and how can people work on their communication skills for better experience? So, if you think about it, life is a first impression. You get only one shot at it. Make sure it is everlasting. I would like all of you to close your eyes and follow my lead. Think of being on a blind date. You're waiting in a fine dining restaurant for your date to arrive. Your date arrives. He or she, whoever the date is wearing orange pants, a pink t shirt, decent shoes, hair not so well done. And the person walks up to you and greets by saying, "Myself so and so." Then the person quickly sits down and calls for the wait staff to get the menu. The wait staff gets the menu, and the person quickly chooses to order something for themselves to eat and then passes the menu to you to place your order. I would like to know from any one of you, would you like to go on a second date with the same person? Anybody can speak. You can unmute and speak. No, nobody wants to take a leap? Okay. So basically, if you are on a date and the person is not dressed appropriately, or the person is not, doesn't have the right manners or etiquette, you would never want to go on a second date with the same person. You will cancel it. So that is the power of our first impressions. It can be a deal maker or a deal breaker. That depends on us, how we utilize those fraction of seconds to impress or to break that deal between us and that person. So it's very important for us to be mindful and to understand that if we use that power of creating those first impressions well, it will benefit us in the long run, especially if we are interested in forming a long lasting relationship with them. Even if you go back to the times where we did not have Google Maps, when we did not have Google Maps, during those times, we used to stop if we were driving a car and going somewhere and we didn't know the road. What would we do? We would ask some passerby, we would stop them and ask them for the way. If there are two people standing, one is wearing a crisp, very well ironed shirt and trousers, and the other is dressed little weirdly, we would always think or perceive that the person who is wearing appropriate clothes or appropriately dressed is the person who would know the route. Whether that is true or not, nobody knows. There is no guarantee. So, in today's fast paced world, we should realize that nobody has the time to sit down and understand all your technical skills, where you stand, what you know. They will only make snapshot judgments of you and will perceive you whether being a positive impression or a negative impression. So we can get hold of and control of those few seconds to cast a positive impression on them. If you think of your interview skills, when people go for interviews, people wonder, oh, my technical skills are on point, my work profile is brilliant. Definitely I'll be chosen. But sorry to say, there are thousands and thousands of people who have similar, work profile. Their profile is on point. Their technical skills are on point. What actually gets them through the door and helps them set a foot and also launch their favorite job is the power of their soft skills. That is the people skills. The way you utilize your soft skills to create that impression and impact on another is what will get you a good job or help you launch a good job. So that is the importance of our first impressions. The moment you enter any interview room, the interview within 5 to 7 seconds would have decided whether you're a candidate who's capable enough for the job or not. Not based on your work profile, but on the basis of the power of first impression that you've created on them. And then, of course, they will not call you back or you will not hear from them. Right. Now, there is a very, very important, aspect of communication. Okay. We talk about something called being a personal brand. If you go anywhere today on social media, people are talking about being personal brands. Everybody wants to be a personal brand. What is being a personal brand in today's world? So, being a personal brand means that every aspect of yours gives the same impression wherever you go, and it should be a positive one. So, what people do is they think of, I'll give you a very easy way to become a personal brand. Okay, it's called the ABCD. ABCD of becoming a personal brand, where A stands for your appearance, B for your behavior, C for your communication skills, and D for your digital media presence. Now, let's take the example of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan here. Okay, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan is somebody everybody knows, and everybody thinks, oh, wow, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. In fact, when Mr. Amitabh Bachchan fell ill, do you remember during those times, the entire world was praying for him all over. So that is the kind of X factor you should hold if you want to create the power of your first impressions on another. And then that same impression lingers on in the minds of people. Like same in the case of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. He may not be the best looking actor, but there is something about him. And that something about him is this X factor that makes people wow, and people feel that, oh, there is something very different or unique about him, his USP, right? So if you talk about Mr. Amitabh Bachchan's appearance, his appearance is always on point. Yeah, he's always dressed. Whatever clothes he wears, whatever color he chooses, he carries himself really well. He's very, very confident. Number two, if you talk about his behavior with a layman, anybody from the streets, or be it a Mr. Ambani, the behavior will be the same. It will not change, which speaks volumes about the kind of human being or the person he is. So if you hold enough humility for people around you, you treat them well. Like when people come on KBC chat, right? When they come on KBC, they're sitting on the hot seat. Mr. Amitabh Bachchan gets up from his hot seat and invites the person. Even he can be a Bihari from anywhere. Mr. Amitabh Bachchan would make him comfortable by talking to him in the Bihari dialect, so that the person does not feel uncomfortable that, oh God, I'm going to meet a celebrity, or I'm talking to a celebrity. So that is the kind of respect and comfort level you should hold when you interact with everybody around you. Make sure it doesn't change according to different people or where people come from, according to their status. It is absolutely wrong if you want to become a powerful brand of your own. If you talk about his communication skills, he's extremely humble. He can communicate very well and with a lot of confidence, both in English and Hindi. So that is the power of his command on his communication, verbal communication, what he speaks, what it makes sense. It's so impressive. Then if you talk about D, that is his digital media presence. What is his digital media presence? Digital media is aapka social media. What you are, like your picture on your social media. How impressive is that? None of us actually sit and think ki a picture of ours can speak 1,000 words. But it is so true. If your picture that is there on a social media, be it your LinkedIn, be it your Instagram, does not speak about how warm you are as a person, if people look at your picture and find you very crude and somebody who's very cold, they will get that feeler that, no, I don't want to interact with this person. I'll look for someone else. Yes, because nowadays people don't have the time to give so much of time directly face to face to you. So what they do is, first and foremost, even if they're thinking of picking up people for certain jobs or for certain, designations within the company, first they go and check out your social media profile. So you should make sure your social media profile is very, very good. It's impressive. There is a warm smile, and you are somebody who's open-minded and somebody who's ready to communicate well with the other person. So you have to be an open-minded, warm person. And that, of course, your media profile or your picture can communicate. So make sure the picture you put on your social media, first you think and reflect. Is this picture worth it? Is it worth putting on the social media platform as my main picture? Because everybody will come and see it. So it will give you an edge over the others. Because if your picture is impressive doesn't mean by looks. Impressive means, is it something that makes the other person feel welcomed and warm. Okay, like if I have a picture where there's a warm smile and I look confident, you'll say, oh, she comes across as a confident individual, somebody who has a warm smile, who's open to communicating with me. So you would definitely get in touch with me. It's like that. So if your ABCD are taken care of, you can become a personal brand. So apply this technique and let me know if it's worked for you or not. Now, coming to another very important point of creating powerful impressions is our communication skills. Now, there is this professor called Professor Mehrabia of Emeritus. He came out with this beautiful communication strategy. It's called the Mehrabian's rule, which states that 55% of our communication happens through our body language. 38% happens through our paralinguistics, that is our pitch, our tone, our volume, our word stress. Okay. And merely 7% are our spoken words. But how wrong are we? We always give more importance to our spoken words than if you talk about our body language or our paralinguistics. I'll give you an example here. Today, if you ask me, Radhika, how was your day today? Now, notice me, okay, what I do. Now, if you ask me, Radhika, how was your day today? And I say, my day was good. Do you actually feel my day was good? My words are correct. Arif, I'm saying my day is good, but can you resonate? Do you feel it? No, I'm sure all of you will think I'm lying or am I lost, because there's no expression, there's no emotion. But if you ask me the same question again, Radhika, how was your day today? I would say, oh, I'm thrilled. My day was so good. It was brilliant. Oh, it was so exciting. Now you can resonate with it. So much of our power of first impressions, or when we meet, how our emotions we show positively to other people speaks volumes about who we are or where we come from. And if there is a clash between our words, our pitch, tone, volume, and our body language, people will take our body language to be the correct impression, because our body language speaks 1,000 words. People look at us and they know, okay, this is what she means. Like how I showed you from my body language and my facial expressions, you took that more seriously over my words. So we need to realize that everything needs to be in congruence with each other. They should all speak the same message, which should be relatable to people. Then our power of first impressions will be very, very good and very, very powerful. Now, let's talk about, when you talk about communication skills, and we've spoken that our body language is the most important out of every aspect of a communication skill. Okay, let's talk about some of the do's and don'ts of our body language for you all to remember to create that powerful impression. So we as Indians, most of us by chance have a habit of sitting with our hands across our chest like this. We all stand and talk like this. We all sit and talk like this. It's absolutely wrong, because the message that we are sending across to another is, we are not interested in communicating with you. We are people who are very closed people. We do not open and we don't want to engage in a conversation. So what is the right way? Your hand should be open. When you say, hi, how are you? You don't say, hi, how are you? It's absolutely wrong. People will start moving away. They won't be interested, because that is the psychologically it impacts them like that they feel, okay, this person is not interested in conversing with us, so they will not come and interact with you. If you think about it, that if you go in a room full of people, and if you go and choose one corner of the room to stand, and you're standing like this, you're not even smiling at people, do you think anybody will come and make that effort to come and speak to you? No, they won't, because Your warm smile is missing, which is engaging. That's how people engage in conversing with us. And also, your arms are across your chest, which is absolutely wrong. So, please keep this in mind when you're talking to people, your arms should be open so that people come and engage in a conversation with you. Next, make sure when you're talking to people, your eyes are at the person, they're not all over the place because it's very distracting when somebody is talking. And if you do not engage in a conversation with the person, yes. So always maintain an eye contact with the person because the person will feel that you're interested in speaking to the person and they would want to converse further with you and communicate more with you. Number three, never ever make faces when you're talking to a person or roll up your eyes. Because when you roll up your eyes and you're talking to somebody, the message goes across that you've said something that the person is unhappy with. If today I'm standing in a crowd and I'm addressing a crowd, if somebody from the crowd makes that face or rolls up their eyes, I definitely get a message that they are not happy with what I've spoken. So that is the power of your body language. You need to understand and engage with others in the same way. Fine. Then we talk about perfectly introducing yourself to people. When you meet people, how do you engage in a conversation with people around you? So, what do you do? When you meet somebody, how do you interact with them? Your body posture should be upright, your upper torso should be engaged, you should have a good eye contact, you should wear a good warm smile, and the most powerful tip of all is you should have a web. This is the web of a hand. So we engage in a web to web handshake. Okay. So always remember that a web to web handshake is a must and only 3 pumps once, twice, and thrice. That's how you shake a hand for a good handshake. And then you introduce yourself by saying myself or I am so and this is what I do. That's it. Your handshake and your words spoken need to be in congruence. Ye nahi ki you're speaking first, your handshake comes later, or your handshake goes first and then you talk later. It's not going to be helpful. Okay. So whenever you're meeting any person, even for your interview skills, whenever you go for an interview anywhere, make sure you maintain that eye contact. You're wearing a good smile and you have a good web to web handshake. So these are the powerful tips you need to keep in mind when you meet people, you engage with them in a conversation. Also, make sure your back is always straight. Sometimes you have a back that is drooping like this inward. So you need to just practice pushing your arms back like this and make sure that they are in alignment. When they're straight, absolutely straight, you will look more confident. To build your confidence further, what you should do is whenever you're feeling very nervous and jittery and you have to address a crowd, what you should do. Because you want to appear very powerful and you want to create a good impression on them, you should stand in a power pose in front of a mirror and tell yourself that I am here to rule. I'm going to rock today. I'm going to be brilliant. Trust me, this power pose works. It creates an impact on the other person because your mindset absolutely shifts. The moment your body language becomes strong, your mindset will shift automatically and put you in that powerful mode where you'll be very confident and you will be able to deliver very confidently. So these are the few tips I wanted to tell you when it comes to making sure that your powerful impressions are created not only with your clothes, but also with your body language. Now, when you communicate with somebody, it's not only about your non-verbal communication, that is your body language. You need to communicate well with your words as well. So what are the things you need to keep in mind when you're communicating with people around you? You need to make sure you do not use too many fillers. Fillers kya hote hain? What are fillers? Fillers are words like we keep repeating them so much in a sentence that the sentence loses its crispiness. And actually, what message you want to send across, it becomes dead. It loses its impact. So make sure you use very less fillers. Then there is something called as enunciation and pronunciation. Pronunciation are our spoken words, the way a word is supposed to sound. On the other hand, enunciation is something which is equally important, but we do not give it enough importance. Enunciation means that you make sure that each word in itself is complete. We do not mingle the words together. Like if you're sitting in any restaurant and the wait staff comes and asks you, ma'am, what would you like to eat? And you say, I would like to have toasted jam. Now the wait staff is left from there, little confused. I don't know what ma'am said because the words were intermingled. And he gets you, to your surprise, roasted lamb. And being a vegetarian, naturally, you can't eat that. And why that confusion happened was because your words were intermingling. You did not let each word be strong enough on its own. You should have said it like that. I want to eat toast and jam, or bread and jam. So the clarity of the word is the enunciating of the word. So make sure whenever you speak to somebody, the word needs to be clear. It needs to be pronounced correctly, and at the same time, it needs to be very, very clear. The word in itself should stand alone so that the impact of the full sentence is there. So that is the power of your spoken words. People love you and respect you for how you come across. You may be excellent with your technical skills, but if your soft skills, if your spoken words, your body language, and also the way you dress to impress and for success is not on point, it will be a deal breaker. So wherever you go and whoever you meet, you have to keep and make sure that your power of first impression is there. Today, who am I going to meet? What do I want to tell them about myself? How do I want to reflect myself on them? What kind of impression or impact do I want to create on them? Are the questions you should be asking yourself each and every day. Think about even your clothing. It's called the art of semiotics, which means giving out cues and clues according to what you wear to other person. If today you're going for any interview, you cannot just slip on a t-shirt and jeans and think I'm fine, I'll go. My technical skills are on point, very good. What about your image? Is it matching to what the company profile is? Does it make sense to where you're going? No, it doesn't. Like if you have to go for an evening party, you need to dress beforehand. You need to think where you're going. Is it in the daytime? Is it in the evening? You dress accordingly. So we play so many roles every day. And what we wear tells people that that is the role we are playing as of now. Meaning, we play the role of a sister, a brother, mother, a father, a company head, a technician, different roles we are playing every day. But do our clothes tell the message or give the message to another that, yes, this is the role we are playing right now? No, because we are very careless about it. We take it very easy that it's okay, it works. No, if you want to create that impact or if you want to create a powerful first impression, you cannot do that because people will take you very lightly. They will not think of you as somebody who's a powerful human being or somebody who has some command in life. So if you want that X factor in you, you need to start working on your A, B, C, D and make sure everything falls in place. Once you become a personal brand, you will learn how to ooze with that powerful first impression. You will become so smart, so confident. When you meet people, people themselves will realize, okay, this person has some impact. There is something about this person that is that X factor, which you need to bring out with your dressing, your styling, depending on the field you're in. Even as students, you cannot be easy about it. Make sure you're groomed properly each day. You take care of wearing the right perfume, the right cologne, your beard is very well groomed, your hair is well done up, you look neat, tidy and proper. That's very, very important. In fact, as an institute, also as an whole, or as people in general, you need to be look like put together. If you don't look put together, people will not take you seriously. So it's very important that you give them that impression. Your handshake needs to be on point. When you introduce yourself to somebody, how you pitch yourself, what you talk about yourself to them is the way you pitch. And I'm sure you know what pitching is. Pitching is like in a few seconds, you have to introduce yourself to another person and there should be impact. Like if I meet somebody and somebody asks me, Radhika, what do you do? I'll say, I am an image consultant, soft skills trainer. I teach people how manners make money and politeness produces profit. I also teach people how to dress for success, keeping their roles and goals in mind. So, something like this about yourself, where you come from, what you do, what do you want to tell the world about yourself, is all about creating your powerful first impressions. Now, I would want to show you a beautiful video which will tell you more about creating a powerful first impression. It's a beautiful video. Please see it. So could you all see what happened with an nano? So that is the power of your first impressions. People accepted her. They thought the child is lost when she was well dressed. They thought she belongs to some good family because she's well dressed from a good status, but she's lost. So they were giving a place, come sit, join us, eat with us. The moment she was shabbily dressed, everybody started pushing the same girl away, thinking that she's somebody from the streets. So that is how psychologically our clothes or our first impression that we create on people around us, do they accept us or they do not want to relate to us. So always keep this in mind. Whenever you're thinking of any interaction, you want to create and make it memorable so that the person remembers you and gets back to you, and that interaction goes positive and it's excellent. The first thing you need to remember is keep your clothing in mind. What am I going to wear today? What are my clothes speaking about me to another person? Put your clothes together, get your look together, make sure you're well groomed, you're wearing a good cologne, and also make sure your cologne or your perfume is not overdone. You don't wear perfume like spraying it all over. There are certain points where it needs to just be sprayed and dabbed. That's it. It should not be overpowering, because sometimes people have problem and they get headaches with too much of perfume as well. So make sure that you don't do that mistake. You're very well groomed, taken care of when you meet the person. So look at yourself in the mirror and see if you're creating that impression on yourself when you look at yourself in a full mirror. Am I ready, dressed to impress or not? Secondly, who am I meeting? So your level of dressing will depend. If you're meeting the director of a company, your level of dressing will be much higher. If you're meeting your colleague, it will be different, right? So that you have to keep in mind, what role are you going to befit right now when you're going to meet the person? What are you going to say? How are you going to pitch yourself when you meet the person? That 3 to 5 seconds pitch, like how I pitched myself to you. You need to remember that pitch in mind and make a good pitch, that whoever I meet, how do I impress them with what I'm saying in those fraction of seconds? Am I wearing a good smile? Is my handshake appropriate? Is it just 3 pumps? Is it web to web? How am I looking? Are my shoes well polished? How is the conversation flowing? So all these things, make sure your tattoos are not visible. Especially if you go in the corporate sector, tattoos are a big no-no. It gives an impression, and if you have lot of streaks in your hair, for women I'm talking, or girls I'm talking about, people don't take you seriously because they feel, oh, this person, okay, if you're an artist, it works very well, because there nobody needs to see. You can, because you're creative, it's a creative field, you can dress anyhow. But when you're talking about serious business or serious outlook business, any of the works, I'm talking about the corporates or otherwise, you have to make sure you're very well put together, because that is the first thing that will help you in creating powerful impressions on another person. If, what do you think, if people are creating, if you today are seeing this video and creating an impression about the person, people in life will not create an impression about you. It's impossible. So always remember all these tips. Where am I going? Who am I meeting? What impression do I want to create on them? And remember my last sentence. You will never ever in life get a second chance to make a first impression ever again. Okay. So with this, I end with what I have to say. If any of you have any questions, please unmute and you can ask questions one by one or raise your hand.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Ma'am, some few questions.
Please.
If you have to judge someone, or what is first characteristics, personality, or any other traits you will judge?
If you have to judge, can you repeat, please? Sorry, your voice is breaking.
No problem. If you have to judge someone, what is first characteristic, personality, or any other traits you will judge?
The first thing what a person sees is what you're wearing. The moment you step in front of the person, that is the first thing a person will see of yours, always. That doesn't mean you have to be the most beautiful person in the room, no, or the best looking. It's about how you put yourself together. Again, body language, very, very important. How confident your body language is what the person will definitely see. Knowingly or unknowingly, it will cast an impression on the other person. So make sure your body language tips that I've given today are very powerful and on point if you want to create that positive first impression on another. Anything else you would like to know?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, second question. Why do you think first impression is important?
So first impression is very important. I'll tell you why. Like I explained to you, when you meet people, you're perceived in a certain way. And if you want to change that perception about yourself, you will not get a first chance to make, you will not get a second chance to make that first impression. And you will think back that, oh God, I missed that chance. I wish that interviewer would have seen me in this light. I desperately want that job. I wish. You will stay in that, stuck in that rut of I wish. So that is why it is so important.
Okay, ma'am. Do you think is it always important to make a good impression?
Of course, it is very, very important to always make a good impression on another. You want to be liked. It's a human nature to be liked by everybody. I'll give you very important information today, Sneha. Why do we all pick up every kid that is passing by and we say, oh, the child is so cute, let me pick him up, because it's human nature to be accepted, and children have this basic nature of accepting anybody. They don't think कि ऐसा है तो I'll accept. वो ऐसा है. When we grow older, we make more judgments. But kids don't have that judgment. They accept everybody. That is the reason we all also, as human beings, want to be liked by everybody. So it's very, very important.
Yes, ma'am. Next question. To make a good first impression, should you talk about yourself or about the other person?
So, very, very important question. I'm glad you asked it. The most important way of connecting with another person is your active listening skills. Please do not be a I, me, myself, because it shows you're an egocentric person. You only think about yourself. If you want to connect with another, we talk about this basically active listening in communication skills, but more in empathy and in emotional intelligence when we teach our students. But active listening skills are very important because you cannot meet somebody and start off about yourself. First, you'll ask the other person, what about you? What do you do? Where you come from? Then hear them. That's why I'm saying engaging with a eye contact is very important because the person will feel you're interested and will want to converse with you more. It will build the relationship further. So, active listening is the most important key here in communication skills. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Next question is, what are the biggest mistake people make when making first impression?
So the biggest mistake people make, again, like I said, they just do not take themselves seriously. They do not think beforehand. They are not mindful. अगर सोच के साथ चलेंगे that how do I dress today? What impact do I want to create? If all the questions that I mentioned earlier before ending the session, you keep in mind and you utilize it to your benefit 100%, you will create that powerful impression and you will thank me. You will actually message me and say, ma'am, thank you so much. You've helped me. It works. It works like a miracle. I've shown it to you in the video how powerful impressions work. So utilize, and it's just merely in those 3 to 5 seconds you get to create that powerful impression on another. Start working on it from today. And when you meet people, think, what impression am I creating on them today? And your perception will change slowly. And people will also turn back and say, oh, what's happened to Sneha? Isn't she different? What has she done with herself? People will start questioning your authority, where you come from, your state. They'll start seeing you in a brighter light. That's what we want. We all want our skills and things about us to be known to people. It will only happen when we understand the power of our first impression that we are creating. People want to get back to you again and again because they feel there's that X factor in you. So that is very important.
It was very effective for our audience. That's a very good piece of advice. And thank you, ma'am, for answering all these questions. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you
for joining this webinar.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Sneha. All the very best to you. And if you have any questions, even in future, I run an academy in which I train also. It's called La Extraordinary Finishing Academy, where I help people hone their skill sets and develop their skill sets. And I train, like I train pageants, I train companies, I train individuals as well, and package them to create that powerful impression on another. So all the very best, and thank you so much once again. Have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much for cooperating. So stay connected, us for new learnings.
All the very best. Thank you.